I made a simple SaaS animation video using Alight Motion, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I did this from scratch. So here's a glimpse of what the video looks like.
Ever paid for something and got scammed? Or refused a deal because you were scared to lose your money? In Africa, trust is expensive. People lose money daily, paying upfront or missing opportunities out of fear. That's why there's Africa Rest, a secure payments platform partnering with Paystack to protect both buyers and sellers. With Africa Rest, your money is held safely until the job is done. You can even pay in parts, only releasing funds when you are satisfied. No more fear, no more losses. Vendors can sell with confidence, riders and delivery agents can earn more, even alongside Bolt, Uber or InDrive. Stop losing money, start doing business with confidence. Download Africa Rest today.
In addition, I'm going to be attaching the project files I use in the editing, so you can use it to practice along, so you can learn better. So if this sounds like something that you'll be interested in, stick around and let's dive into it.
Alright, to start with, we are going to be starting with a shape. Just import a shape that we are going to use as the background. You resize it and then change the color of the shape. In the color panel, select a gradient and play around. Feel free to follow the settings on screen. Now, after the background, the next thing is to create something that looks like a mini website. We are going to make this look techy and similar to something like a UI animation. We are going to start by bringing in a shape, resizing it and adjusting the position before we animate. For the bounce animation, make this kind of graph here. Change the color of the rectangle to white, then add shadows to it. You can follow the settings on your screen. Select a text layer, customize it and add it to the middle top of the rectangle. Go to the scale settings for the text layer and add two keyframes. At the first keyframe, reduce the size such that it is no longer visible. Then you add a bouncy keyframe graph. You can follow the settings on your screen. So we are going to add another shape that we are going to layer on top of this white shape on this white rectangle. This is because we want to create something that is similar to a card to display the product on this mini website. So we are going to be just follow the settings, the positions as I do on your screen. The process is quite similar to the way we did the big rectangle, so I'll just speed over a bit. Now duplicate that card animation we just created, the one we animated, and replace it with a particular product that will be appearing on the website. Don't forget to increase the opacity of the products you imported. This is because since we reduce the opacity of the card, the product we imported is going to take the exact settings because we just made a replacement. All effects on the card will be applied to the product. Link that card to the big rectangle. Now link the product to the big rectangle. Duplicate the text we have at the top middle of the rectangle. We are going to be adjusting it, customizing it to match the card. So this is full customization, just follow the process. So you can change the text, add whatever you want to add. You have to duplicate it again, add the price tag below, and that's just quite the process. And again, most importantly, note that in everything you do, all these stuffs we are layering on this big rectangle, they must be attached to the big rectangle. So because we already attached the checkout text to the big rectangle and we just duplicate the layer, it is automatically attached to the big rectangle. So we don't have to do that again. So you are going to know the reason why we do this in a couple of minutes. Once you are done with the first card, you are going to be doing a mass selection of the first card and then duplicate it for us to design the second card. Note, we are duplicating, not grouping, and you can identify each duplicated layer by looking at your timeline. Look at the iPhone 14 Pro, iPhone 14 Pro copy 2. That is how you can identify them. And if you find it hard to identify them, you can just rename the layer by tapping on the layer and clicking on the text above, closer to the left arrow at the top. So now we're going to be adjusting the position of every of the stuff we duplicated from the first card. We're going to be adjusting the position, then editing the details, the text and the images of the products. Now for the third card, we are going to repeat the same process. Group the objects, group the details from the first or second card, whichever one, and then duplicate it. Don't group, don't copy or paste. Duplicate it and then edit it. I'm going to be moving over this process a bit faster because it's quite similar to the ones we've been doing before. We are going to take this website to the next level by duplicating and doing these stuff as I do on the screen. If you observe the layers are not as centers, just like mine, just must select everything and use your two fingers to pinch it. Just drag the screen. You can do this by just using your two fingers, pinch and just move it within the position where you want it to be. So if you pinch it too much, it's going to shrink, but just make sure you don't over shrink it and you don't enlarge it too much so you get your desired position and size. Duplicate one of the card and then resize it to something like this. Just follow the settings on your screen. What we want to do here is to create a animated click pay now button for this mini website. Now, this is where things start getting interesting. We want to make an animated click button. So what we're going to do here is to import a click icon. So don't worry if you don't have it, I'm going to be linking it to the project files along. So we are going to import this and then position it. After positioning it, then we animate. The size and everything should be done before we animate. Just follow the process as shown on your screen. To make the finger icon to click alongside the blue button, we have to split it at the center. So at the point at which the click is about to happen, then we link it to the rectangle. We are also going to do something similar for the text. We are going to transition from pay now to processing. So as we are also going to be splitting at the center at where the click happened. Duplicate the big rectangle, the one we use as the background, and then adjust the position. Take it up so it appears above the stuffs we have on it. So we're going to reduce the opacity and change the color to red. This is because we want to make something that looks like an arrow. Add keyframes to the opacity as you can see on your screen. Add another text layer and write the word scammed. So you should use a bold font. In my case, I used Tactic Sans. You can use something similar or bold. So now we're done with our first scene. So to transition to the other one, we need to import a null layer. So now we're going to be attaching the elements in the group 1 by linking the background to the null layer. So if we move the null, everything on the first scene is going to be moved. Now you can see the reason why I said attach everything you layer on the background, and make sure you link them to the what, the white background. This is the reason, because if not, we will have to be manually linking each of the layers to the null. Add two keyframes on the null with few frames apart from each other. Then make the keyframe graph. Just follow the settings on your screen. Now duplicate any of the text from the first scene, and we are going to be customizing it. We are going to be adding an entire transformation, text transform. So you might need to reset the settings from the text you copied or you duplicated. So, and we are going to be attaching this text layer to the null. So the kind of transition we are trying to do here is called a match cut. Now just follow the settings on your screen. Match your text transform settings to what I have on my screen over here. Make sure you change the components from words to letter so you can have the same kind of animation. After you've achieved the position and the effect on the text, pair it to the null. Now to finish our match cut, you have to do a mass selection of the first scene. So remember, in match cut we have to trim off the ending of the first clip before it actually ends. So we are going to be selecting them and trimming them at the middle of the null. We are going to look at the null and time it such that as it is half about to leave the screen, we cut it off. Then for the scene that is coming in, we are going to trim off the beginning such that we don't see when it's coming, but we see it as it's about to complete its movement while coming in. So just follow the settings on your screen. Now still within the second scene, duplicate the text layer and make these changes. Make this kind of graph over here. Now paste the same text layer you copied before, paste it again and edit it. So you may need to reset the settings of the text layer because we are going to be making a bounce down kind of animation for the text over here. Just follow the process on screen. Now we are going to be splitting the text so we have them on separate layer. This is because we are going to be introducing another graphic that is going to come in between them. Ensure to space out the text properly and you arrange their layers. Then you import this map icon. So resize it properly, then animate once you are done. Copy the keyframe graph settings we use for the text and head over to the map icon and paste it over there. We do this to maintain consistency. Import your B-roll and position it accordingly. After you position it, you can now start adding keyframes to animate. Note that the first two keyframe is for the sliding in of the b-roll. Now add another keyframe indicating the start. So you move another frame forward to add another keyframe. So now this next set of two keyframe is indicating the out animation of this b-roll. Now I want you to pay attention closely over here. At the same time frame that you are doing the out animation, add two keyframe in the size of the b-roll. Go to the size section, look at the first and the last of the out animation and add a keyframe on the same point. That is where you should make the changes to the b-roll. Now look at the settings on your screen and follow accordingly. Make this kind of graph over here and copy and paste to the size animation. Now import your next b-roll, and what we are going to do here is to make it look as if this second b-roll comes in to push out the first b-roll. You understand? So firstly we need to add a wipe effect so as to trim off the parts we want to maintain from the b-roll, because we can't use all. We want to center it at the subject focus. We are going to be positioning it at the position the first b-roll is going out. So that is the same point we are going to be adding our keyframes. Now for this second B rule, we are going to do the same as the first. At the point you have your out keyframes, the first and the last, go to the size and make changes to it. That is, at the second keyframe of the out animation, you are going to adjust the size of the B-roll so that we just have the center, the man at the center of the clip. You can copy and paste the keyframe graph settings. Just ensure to maintain consistency in the keyframe animations. In case you don't get to fix the man at the center, just follow these settings. We are going to be shifting the layer below the existing one, the first B-roll. So we are going to move it to the left a bit further, you understand? So we get the face of the man. Then the size, we are going to ensure that we don't crop it too much from the right, so it stays at the center. Just follow the settings on your screen and watch closely. Alright, now we're done with that. So for the third B-roll, apply the same settings. So it's quite very similar to the ones we've been doing. So I'll just speed up this process a bit. Now import the logo of the company we are working with. So I will just be using this for the transition while using it to introduce the company, the brand. Animate the logo using the Z axis. Just follow these settings. And for the keyframe graph, just use this kind of graph here. position the logo such that immediately it comes in, it introduces the next scene. So you can do this by trimming off the existing scenes by timing them at the moment where the logo fills the screen. So for my next scene, I'll be using a different background and just follow the process of how I use gradients to design the background. Copy and paste a text layer onto this new scene and customize it. Add a new text, change the color, resize it. Add a null layer and attach the logo to it. Then once you've positioned it, animate the logo to move to the right using the null layer. After this, we are going to attach the text layer to the null layer. Now bring in the screen recording from the brand's website, and we are going to be designing this a bit. Just watch closely. Add a wipe effect to trim it to the size you want. Add a shape over here and extend it to match the length of the screen recording. What we are trying to do here is to extend the height of the screen recording. Copy the logo layer of the one we use for the transition, reset the settings, the animation, and place it at the edge, at the left edge of this screen recording. What we are trying to do here is to fake like the website, you understand? So we'll also be adding the text, but just watch along. Attach the logo to the screen recording. This is very important because we will also be moving this entire scene very soon. Quick one, kindly go back to that scene where we introduced the brand name and let's animate the text itself. Let's animate the Africa rest. So you are going to go to the text transform and adjust the transform settings. So just follow these settings on your screen. Paste the text you copied. Paste the text you copied from the other layer. Paste the text layer you copied and adjust it. Adjust the name, the design, and make sure you make it fit at the top left corner of the screen recording. Ensure to pair it to the screen recording as well. import a shape layer, and what we are going to be doing is we are going to be creating something that looks like a transparent liquid glass on the edge of the website or the screen recording, just to give it a premium look. After we've got the size, we are going to be adding two effects to this rounded rectangle. Watch closely. We are going to duplicate that same shape we add effect on, and once we duplicate it, we are going to disable all the effects that we have on that shape layer. So after disabling it, we are going to be adding a stroke at the edge, and we are going to give it a white color, and the radius of the stroke is going to be very tiny, not too excessive. Select all the layers in this scene and adjust the position, make their length equal, after which you are going to group them all. You can edit the group to edit each of the layers individually. You can adjust the effects on those texts, disable the effects on those texts so they don't animate, so they start at the same time. You can also adjust the length of each layers by selecting them and extending them, so that way they start at the same time. Once you are done, you can now proceed to edit the whole group, to animate it to enter the scene. Just follow the settings on your screen. After you've had an in animation using the group, you've had an in animation on the group, add a null layer to change the direction of the group, to push it downwards, so you can attach another layer to match the movement. Paste the text layer you copied from the previous scene and edit it to match. We are going to be editing the components, editing the colors, the animations, then we are going to be pairing it to the null layer, so it's going to follow the movement of the screen recording. For the text animation, go to the text transform and match your settings to mine. Pair the text onto the null layer, and after this you will insert another null layer onto your timeline. This is the null that we're going to use to transition out this scene into the next scene. We're also going to be making a match cut as well, so watch closely. Ensure to pair your null 3 to the null 4. Now you can move the current scene by animating null 4. Paste the text layer you copied, edit it, and make these changes before we attach it to the null 4, so we can then make a match cut between them. Now for the next thing, we are going to be bringing in a screenshot of the app interface. Now we are going to be doing a lot of technical stuff here, so I'll just resize this and then fit it into a phone mockup. So I'll be providing the phone mockup in case if you need it for practice. I'll attach it below. So first of all, let's resize it before we import the phone mockup. After resizing it, you can then group it together. Don't worry if it is not yet perfect. You can always edit the group, then you can edit them individually inside of the group, and this is even better to keep things organized. So what we want to do here is, after the resizing, we just want to animate the phone to slide in. The phone mockup, we want to animate it to slide in. Now we've achieved what we want. So I want to create a scene inside of the phone mockup. I want to create an animation of a hand clicking or selecting something. So I just went over, copy the hand icon and then paste it into the group. You don't have to do it from scratch again. Paste it into the group and customize it. I'm going to be adding a shape to cover the existing blue layer and making changes to it. Just pay attention and watch the process. I'll also be adding a text layer into this, and I'll customize it to what I want. So ensure you time it together with the green shape so that when the click happens, it reveals the word released, and also the green shape we use to cover it. You understand? I'm duplicating the green rectangle and resizing it. I'm moving it up to do the same thing as what I did below. In case you copy the wrong one just like me, so you may need to animate the click icon again. So just add 3 keyframes in the scale settings, 2 frames apart each. Then the middle one, you are going to reduce the size. then that's it. Select and extend all the whole layers in the group to make sure they are of equal length. You can further add keyframes to almost towards the end of the group layer so that you can keep the layer moving while something is happening inside the group. You will just do this to keep things happening so as not to make the video boring. So open the group and add another screenshot. So we are going to be creating another scene inside of the group. After the hand icon clicks the button and the stuff has been released, we want to showcase another stuff within the same phone mockup. So that's what we're trying to do over here. You can just come over to the first scene and copy some layers, the shape layers and the text layers, as we are going to be using the same animation, shape and text inside of the phone mockup. After pasting the stuff you copied from the first scene, select them together, don't group yet, and use your two fingers to pinch it to reduce the size and adjust the position to where you want it to be. So from here we are going to be editing it to the color we want and add whatever we want to add to it. Insert another shape layer and use it to fill the below the region where we want to create this animation. So we are going to be covering this, and the color we are going to be using is going to be the color that is on the screenshot. You can just use the color picker to do this. Now move it below the layers we copied, because we are working on these layers and we want them to appear up. So this rectangle has to go below. So we're just going to edit this card. We are going to customize it to what we want to be, for what we want to appear there. Like, we have several options of button. We're just going to visualize that and then animate it. So we are going to create it once and duplicate it in 4 parts to replace the one that is currently there. So after this, we are just going to call it a day for this. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, just drop a comment, drop a like. It really means a lot to me. And let me know anywhere you're not cleared. If you have questions, I will always respond. And if you want me to drop the part 2 of this video, I would really love to hear from you guys, so I can prepare that as well. Subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification, and I'll see you on the next one.